Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmridam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vishnupadaya Vishnupushtaaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavad Paschatya Deshakarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Okay, so I think we were I thought I marked the page. Okay, I found it here. So we left off at okay. Sorry. I had to go back to yesterday's video to figure out exactly where we stopped. Parikshit was fascinated. That was why Ayurveda recommended sunshine, fresh air, regular baths, drinking sufficient water, and eating fresh produce from the earth like grains and vegetables. By doing so, we rejuvenate the elements which comprise our bodies and life air. Still, he remained mystified how the eternal spirit soul identifies with material bodies and became absorbed in material pains and pleasures. More importantly, he wondered how they could ever become released from this false state of existence. Shukadeva said, false ego makes the living beings identify with their material bodies, and the material senses are designed to irresistibly drawn to the sense objects. The living beings experience pleasure and distress through the mind. The intelligence, however, is an instrument which enables the living beings to deliberate on and improve their situation. I like this point. That's the truth. Well, let's pause here. So the living beings experience pleasure and distress through the mind. Most of our problems are not because of externally we are hungry or we are thirsty, or it's all the difficulties caused by the mind, most of them. And the intelligence enables the living beings to deliberate on and improve their situation. Very clear. My dear king, I have now described the internal composition of one universe as a form of the Lord. The universe is covered by 8 layers of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All these emanate from Krishna as his external energy. The sage was pensive for a moment. He then said, besides this gross universal form of the Lord, there is another extremely subtle manifestation which is invisible, without the qualities or shape, inexplicable and eternal. Both of these forms are material, and thus the pure devotees who know the Lord in truth do not accept either as being equal to these forms in Vaikuntha, such as Narayana and Krishna. Whenever there is a need, the transcendent Lord accepts forms in the material world to create, maintain, and destroy the universes. However, he always remains transcendental to the unaffected. And by these activities, because unlike the conditioned souls, he is not under the control of the modes of nature. Nor does he exploit this world for his own selfish enjoyment. Parikshit now clearly understood that the whole creation and the creative energies are simultaneously one and yet different from the transcendent Lord. Since everything is an emanation from him, the cosmic energies are him. Yet, since all Krishna's expanded energies have specific functions and varied appearances as designed by him, they are also different from him. The living beings, as his energies, are also simultaneously one and different from him. The living beings are, as his energies, are also simultaneously one with and different from him. This is the Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. We are all qualitatively one with Krishna and quantitatively different from Krishna. That's why there is no scope in the progress of spiritual life when we identify ourselves as Krishnas and we belong to Krishna and that I'm part and parcel of Krishna, I'm qualitatively one with Krishna. There is no room for negative emotions such as greed or false ego or false envy or shame or guilt or all those things, because it doesn't befit a soul who belongs to Krishna and who is one with Krishna in quality. And it's kind of like an insult to Krishna to put ourselves down. So degrading ourselves with our mind, we can cut off this, not cut off, but to view ourselves as separate from Krishna. As Parikshit reflected on Krishna's kindness, tears of love flooded his eyes. Even though the living beings rebel against Krishna's authority, he still arranges everything for them. Then he enters their hearts and remains with them, no matter what body they accept. Let's pause there. Not only just not what body they accept, also whatever we are going through in our life, however fallen we are, however lost we are, Krishna is in our hearts. Wow, what a mercy, what a sweet Lord. So sweet that he's always there for us, regardless of our circumstances, regardless of our flaws and faults. So you're never ever alone. Krishna is always with you. Krishna loves you. And there is no need to ever despair. Parikshit further ruminated on the different opinions the sages had earlier expressed. Remembering how the followers of Karma Mimamsha were attracted to the heavenly planets, he decided to ask questions for their benefit. My Lord, please describe how living beings get different bodies in the material world. Earlier you said it is because of their association with the modes of nature. Please explain what births result from work performed under the various mixtures of these modes. Shukadeva said, O king, all living entities receive a material body according to their past deeds. This includes Brahma and his sons, the Manus, the administrative gods, the sages, the lower celestial races, the demon races, humans, ghosts, evil spirits, birds, mammals, reptiles, aquatics, and all other moving and non-moving species. All experience the results of their own acts. All material bodies are governed by combinations of the three modes of nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Okay. Somebody likes to take over the reading from here?
Should I read?
Please.
Those who predominantly act in the mode of goodness take birth as gods in the celestial regions in their next lives. Those who work mainly in passion will take birth as human beings, and those who act in ignorance will take birth among lower species. These three types of beings are again divided into three when again mixed with the other two modes. For example, a living being who takes birth as a human because of a predominance of passion may be also influenced by goodness and thus take birth as a Brahmana. Or he may be affected by ignorance and take birth as a Shudra. Shukadeva paused, deep in thought. Many of the sages present could not understand why an all-good God places souls into such miserable conditions. He continued, after creating the universe, the Lord, who is its maintainer, appears within it in numerous incarnations to reclaim the fallen souls in all species of life. At the end, he assumes the form of Rudra to annihilate it, and as the wind disperses clouds. The foolish conditioned souls strive to attain permanent happiness in this temporary world. Krishna, however, gives information that there is another nature which is eternal, and that by engaging in his devotional service, we can be transferred there to enjoy a permanent life of full knowledge and unlimited bliss. The purpose of this world is to give
Any questions or any comments? See, this point here is very relevant. Many of the sages present, they could not understand why all good God places souls in such miserable conditions. As they sometimes ask, why bad things happen to good people, right? This is a very common question that people have. Why? Why? Because we only see what is in front of us, but Krishna sees our development over lifetimes. In this particular lifetime, we may be going through something specific which may actually be necessary for us. And the pain that we are experiencing actually is liberating us from those attachments that is keeping us bound to this world. And this stuff as well here, this the foolish conditioned souls strive to attain permanent happiness in this temporary world. So Krishna is like very kind. He loves us too much to let us do nonsense. He loves us too much to remain foolish. As much as it's difficult to find liberation from material entanglements, I've been thinking how much more difficult it is to find association of devotees, how much more difficult it is to have the mind be cooperative to associate with devotees and to be, to convince our mind to be of service. I'm realizing more and more that it's extremely rare. It's not just something you can go and take it. It really comes as a result of us performing dharma, and also crying out to the Lord And sometimes he makes us realize the importance of association. Like we were discussing yesterday, a couple of days, right? We all hankered for this kind of Sangha so much, where we can be ourselves, when we can explore our heart and our flaws in a way which is safe for us. And it wasn't like just like that given. Some of us thought we're going to go, how do you say, we're going to slide into the graves, carrying our innermost feelings by our alone. And some of us thought the only way to cope up with this world is to become like them. We didn't find that hope to be vulnerable and to share our hearts. But Krishna is so kind. After some stormy situations, and because of that storm, we get down on our knees and beg him for what's the most valuable thing. Then he gives, I mean, in my example, he gave me, I remember a few years ago, I was feeling so lost. We moved to this new location and I didn't have friends, and I was really hankering so much to have Sangha. And I got some friendship which was not like-minded at all. And it was a little bit kind of degrading, or like not really fitting for advancement. And I remember feeling that sense of, this is not me, this is not me, this is not nourishing me. I'd rather go and preach, I'd rather go on pilgrimage. Why do I have to be hearing all these things about vacation or whatever. I was like torn. There was some part of me which still had some material desires, and Krishna put me through that association, which made me realize that I can't find permanent happiness in this temporary world. And then also I remembered all the training of many years that preaching is what gives most happiness. Taking care of devotees is the real joy. Not finishing off my good karma by enjoying by myself is not what I feel comfortable with. Because every time we are enjoying, every time we are happy, every time we're doing something for ourselves and enjoying the family, we are essentially finishing off our good karma. And every time we are struggling, feeling bad, feeling sad, feeling disappointed, we are doing some austerities, we're doing some sacrifices, the bad karma is being reduced. So a wise person does not celebrate in finishing off the good karma. It's like, imagine you're given like $50,000 as a gift to spend, and then you're being given with $50,000 as debts on another hand. A wise soul is not thinking, I want to first enjoy, I'll think about the debts later, right? The wise soul says, okay, let me pay off the debts first. That is beneficial towards spiritual progress. Yeah, anyway, there are many points there, but if you have anybody has any points, anything to add, anything to further this. The purpose of this world is to give rebellious souls a chance for self-realization. We should not waste it in sense gratification. What's that song, Vilas Manjari? The one which says, the one about, I don't have the time, something like, I forget that song. We discussed about it. Something about not wasting time. There's a bhajan. If I remember, I will tell it later. Okay. Anybody likes to continue? Anybody else likes to continue reading, or?
I'll continue from the indicating.
Yeah.
Indicating the Sankhya philosophers, the Vaisheshikas, and Gautama and his students, Shukadeva said, although we can attain Krishna's personal association, some transcendentalists are satisfied to simply understand his impersonal feature.
Okay, 1 second. Pause. I remembered that bhajan, which says, I forgot again. Sorry, continue.
Looking over at the followers of Patanjali, he said, Yogis desire to realize the Paramatma. Both of these features of the Supreme are involved only in the material creation. Turning towards Narada, Vasudeva, Devala, and the other devotees, he added, pure devotees of Krishna, however, see much more glorious pastimes of the Lord in the transcendental realm beyond matter. They take full advantage of the duration of the material creation to qualify themselves to enter in Krishna's eternal blissful kingdom, where they can enjoy with him forever in transcendental love.
Wow.
Indeed.
They take full advantage of
Duration.
the material creation to qualify themselves. Wow. See, that's the purpose. That's why, that's what we're supposed to do. I remember this bhajan. Hyange madalayya Krishna hogutide ayushya. Remember, Vilas Manjari? Hyange madalayya Krishna hogutide ayushya. Mangalam Bhava Bhangava Bidisi. It's basically a song which is a prayer to the Lord, begging the Lord, identifying and recognizing and acknowledging that how Krishna, how am I going to qualify myself to enter your kingdom when my longevity is being reduced every single second. Every single second I'm actually like dying and it's going away and the time is so less, so little. And so please help me to release myself from unnecessary material burdens and desires, edit my life and give me the focus on the things that are really important so I can utilize this short time to qualify myself to enter your kingdom. Wow. How can I, Hyange means how can I do this, Krishna? My longevity is deteriorating, it's reducing. How am I going to do this, Krishna? Please help me. Like that. Please continue, last minute.
Indeed, absorbed in those confidential pastimes, Krishna does not personally involve himself with creation. Parikshit looked surprised. Do the Vedas not describe him as the creator? Yes, but this is simply to counter the mistaken idea that material nature creates alone. The material creation is executed by his energies such as Pradhana and his Purusha Avatara expansions, as I have already explained. Parikshit could not resist a glance towards the Sankhya proponents who held this erroneous belief. They were all sitting in spellbound silence as Shukadeva repeated their speculations.
That's an interesting moment. Parikshit Maharaj is looking at them to see their reactions.
Parikshit's thoughts again turned to Jaimini's followers who desired to attain celestial bodies in the heavenly planets. Knowing it to be unwise to aspire for any position in the material universe, he hoped Shukadeva could help them also realize this. Please tell me, O Master, how long this creation lasts? I have heard that not only is there an annihilation at the end of Brahma's life, but that even during his life, there are subsidiary destructions and creations. Please describe how long this lasts. How long also are the lifespans of the gods and other beings dwelling throughout the universe? Shukadeva replied, the first division of creation is known as Mahakalpa, which lasts from when the universes first emanate from Mahavishnu's body until they return into him. Mahakalpa. The next division of creation.
Okay, let's see here. See, this is such a simple point. Even these gods, demigods in heaven, their lifespan is temporary. They're not going to live forever. Sometimes we may see somebody beautiful, youthful person going around, walking around with pride. And then we may think, oh, you see, so beautiful, and I'm not. But how long is that beauty going to last? It's not going to last. Same thing with demigods as well. In fact, there is a Bhaja Govindam verse which says, Ma kuru dhana jana yauvana garvam harati nimesha kala sarvam maya mayamidam akhilam hitva brahmapadam tvam pravisha vidhitva brahmapadam tvam pravisha vidhitva bhaj govindam govindam bhaja mudamate. So it says about my people, my opulences, my youth, all these things that we take pride in. Harati nimesha kala sarvam. In 1 second, all these things can be taken away. We've seen people losing all their money in business and becoming poor. We've seen people having some accident and then that's it. The body's finished and the skin gets burnt. You know, recently one of our community members, they were going on a motorbike with a small girl daughter. The daughter is in a worse condition than the mother, but beautiful Mataji, beautiful baby, right? Something happened in the bike and the fuel caught fire. And then the whole the body, both their bodies got burnt by this fire. And I think the baby girl is still in the hospital, still like 80% of her body was burnt. So sometimes we are so absorbed in our bodies and thinking how we look and what's happening. But the truth of the situation is that we are not this body. I remember my Guru Maharaj, I asked him, do you like me with my glasses on? And then he looked into my eyes and said, you're not this body. So sometimes we're just so stuck in things. How will we be able to progress in spiritual life if we don't understand even demigods are temporary? What is permanent is something else, and we should use this body. How you use the body is more important than how your body is, okay? How you use your money is more important than how much money you have. How you use your talents is more important than what talents you have. So are you using everything for Krishna or not? That's the detector, that's the meter, the degree to determine if you're successful or you are a loser. The point about the material world thinking if we are losers or not doesn't count. What's that? There's Purandaradasa that says, among the karmis, let me look like a fool. Can you remember that song, Vilas Manjari? We had discussed also that song earlier.
ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳ ಮುಂದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾನ ಕಳೆಯಲ್ಲ.
Yeah, exactly. And then what's the Agyanigala ಮುಂದೆ
ನಾನು ಎನ್ನೋದ ಬಿಡಿಸು.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಅದು ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಅಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳ ಮುಂದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾನ ಕಳೆಯ, ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳ ಮುಂದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಎನ್ನೋದು ಬಿಡಿಸು.
Exactly. ಸುಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳ ಮುಂದೆ ನಾನು ಎಂಬುದ ಬಿಡಿಸು. Exactly. So this is a prayer.
ತಿಳಿಸು, ಸಕಲ ಸರ್ವತ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀನು ಎಂಬುದು ತಿಳಿಸು.
So this is Uga Bhoga. This is like a poetry which says, in front of people who are materialistic, make me look like a fool, please, because I don't want to fit in there. I don't want to prove anything to them. I don't want to get validated by these people and try to fit into their world. So please make me look like a fool amongst the foolish. And please, Krishna, amongst the knowledgeable people, amongst the devotees, please let me give up me and mine. Let me not try to strive for something trivial by saying, this is me, this is mine. And then there is also the other part, which is very important. Please give me the knowledge of you. Let me engage myself in you. Parikshit also is realizing that everything, all the senses need to be used into Krishna's service. Otherwise, we are in trouble. Rishikesha Rishikena Sevya So the only way to get liberated from our sensual bondage is by giving ourselves to Krishna. And in that context, there is another bhajan which speaks about Nindakar irabeku, nindakar. So it's for progress in spiritual life, we need people who can criticize us and correct us. And there are two things about it. Even those people who are materialists, we need them to criticize us. You know why? Because they take away all our bad karma. That is the power of the materialists. They have so much power to take away all our bad karma. So it's good for us to feel like a loser in this material world. But to not be a loser in the spiritual world, we engage ourselves in Krishna's service and not focus on, oh, I don't have more skills. Oh, I don't have more money. Oh, I don't have better beauty in order to do this and that. I don't speak so good to preach. Instead of getting stuck in those things, we just say, Krishna, I'm your instrument. How I use what I have is more important than what I have. So that is the Jnana Shakti aspect, to use, knowing that I need to use what I have, not Kriya Shakti. Oh, if only, if I do this, then I will be, and not the Dravya Shakti. If I had more skills, if I had more money, then I would do programs in my house, whatever. No, we just do it. And then Krishna gives us more and more. If we use our senses in service of Krishna, we pray, we preach, we help him in his mission, then Krishna will give us good health to continue doing that. If we use our money in service of devotees without trying to hoard it and think of our own security, Krishna will give us more money to do that service. If we are using our talents, if we are using our skills and our knowledge to further the mission, Krishna will give more of that. That's the yathamam prapadyante. Depending on our level of our interest and our surrender and our dedication, Krishna increasingly gives us where we are investing. So it's like showing to Krishna, I'm investing here, Krishna. I'm investing in the association of devotees. So Krishna will give more association of devotees. Oh, I'm investing in studying scriptures and understanding further, and he gives us more in understanding and knowledge to do that. So that's how it works. There's some comments. Let's see what is it. Yeah, exactly. Knowing how to use our energy or resource, including time or money, is the mode of goodness. So true. So true. It's not easy. As an astrologer, I'm seeing that it's not easy for people to use what they have in Krishna's service. When they don't have, they may come to Krishna and say, please give. When they have it, they're usually thinking how I can improve my material situation, how I can get more. Oh, I want more. So that's the madness of material desires. Once we have a little bit, it will keep increasing. That's why we should be careful to not invest in our material desires. It's never-ending black hole. And it ends, meaning whatever we get, it will end even for demigods. Even one thing I'd heard some time ago, Kantya Prabhu had told me, even in the heavenly planets, there's one demigod thinking, oh, look at that other demigod. He has a better airplane. He has a better apsara. No, I don't have. Oh, the other demigod is more respected than me. So there's envy even in the higher planetary systems like heaven. The envy, that's why it's Paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavam atravastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam. So Srimad Bhagavatam gives us the ability to discriminate illusion from reality. And in order for that to happen, we need to work actively on our non-enviousness, because Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for the non-envious. And that's a very, how do you say, it's a quality which we cannot, we cannot compromise on that. We need that quality like that. So, yeah. Okay. So anybody else likes to continue? Thank you, Vilas Manjari. We just end here this section. The next division of creation is known as Vikalpa. This period spans Brahma's entire life. The last division of creation is known as Kalpa, spanning one day of Brahma, from when he rises to when he goes to sleep. That's long, huh? At the end of each of Brahma's day, there's a partial devastation. At the beginning of his next day, upon awakening, Brahma again creates. I will speak more about this topic, but first tell me if you have any other queries. Encouraged by Shukadeva, Parikshit asked many questions. Again, on behalf of those desiring to enjoy the results of their acts, he asked, please explain more about time and how, in both small and large steps, and through the three divisions of past, present, and future, it brings about the results of work and again devours them. Remembering that the followers of Sankhya were interested in how creation occurred, he asked, please explain exactly how the different planets in the universe, along with the sky, stars, seas, mountains, rivers, and continents were created. How do the living beings attain these various destinations? Then, thinking of Vaisheshika's interest to understand everything scientifically, he said, please describe the dimensions of the cosmos, both within and beyond our universe. Kindly also explain the scientific reason for dividing society according to the different varnas and ashrams, as well as the characteristics and activities of liberated soul who are not constrained by varnashram. So we can stop here today. And mark this page. We will continue from 8:16. This is the last chapter. Yeah. So, any thoughts? Any questions so far? Okay, so then we can end here in less than 1 hour. We have my grandmother coming on the show and singing some songs and telling us some katha. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.